Who won the debate? Edward Luce, U.S. national editor at the Financial Times, joins me from Washington, D.C. Edward, most of the comments post-poll that I see, post the debate, seem to suggest that it was a wipeout for Kamala Harris. Do you agree? Or was Trump able to at least address his own constituency?
I do. Great to be on with you, Rajdeep. As ever, I do agree with the consensus that this was as much of a sort of comprehensive debate win for Kamala Harris as Joe Biden lost to Donald Trump in late June. It was really the mirror image of Biden's disastrous performance, which of course led to him dropping out and Kamala Harris becoming the nominee. She's sort of managed to get under Trump's skin. She managed to deflect him from the advice his campaign and his supporters were all giving him, which was not to lose his cool and not to get into sort of wacko conspiracy theories like you've just shown in your clip about illegal immigrants eating people's pet cats and dogs, which isn't the kind of thing that wins you elections. So yes, I've watched many, many presidential debates. This was about as one-sided as it gets.
So what do you think that, in a sense, as you said, you compare it to what happened with Biden, did Mr. Trump come across as old and angry? That in a sense, by getting under his skin, she was able to bring out to the American people a side of Donald Trump that they don't really want to see?
Yes, I mean, I think, the age factor sort of immediately became the issue for Trump the day Biden stepped down. That strategy that Trump had of beating Biden on cognitive ability was a winning strategy. He would have won the election if Biden hadn't dropped out. Now, Trump is the old man, and I think still pining for having Biden as his opponent. And that did surface during the debate. He kept attacking Biden, and Kamala Harris was quite ruthless in distancing herself from Biden and had to remind Trump, you're running against me in this election. Kamala Harris, you're not running against Joe Biden. So I think Trump has painted himself into a bad place. And the proof of that is that immediately after the debate ended, Kamala Harris said, I want another debate. And Trump said this morning after the night before, he doesn't really want to debate her again. I think that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about who won and who lost.
But how much of a difference does that then make, Ed, on the overall electorate? America seems to be a country like India, very polarized. Therefore, the floating voters are critical. Do you believe they are influenced by what they saw today? Or will they still wait to see the actual plans on the ground? Has Trump still got a chance despite what happened today?
Yes, Trump still very much has a chance. And you're quite right, Rajdeep, that America is not just bitterly polarized, it's very evenly polarized, very evenly divided. And so the outcome to the election boils down to, maybe as few as 20, 30,000 voters here in Michigan, in that swing state, or 40, 50,000 voters in Pennsylvania because of the American Electoral College. So Kamala Harris really needs to be sure of winning those critical swing states. She really needs a national lead of about 5 percentage points. Right now, she's got a 2 or 3 point lead. We'll see whether the debate moves that needle. I think it will. It certainly, at the very worst, will not have harmed her. I suspect it will be a much better than that. But even a 4 or 5 point lead, you've got no guarantee that will result in victory. So Trump could very much still win. That remains a live possibility.
So what changes, Ed, between now and then? What is that critical issue that you believe will make the difference? Is it the economy? Is it immigration? Is it foreign policy? All of which were raised today. But what abortion? What, according to you, is that critical X factor that could decide who wins this, what, as you say, is a very close contest?
Well, America always has this sort of fear of or anticipation of an October surprise, something that happens in the month before the election that just changes the weather. And if I could think of one foreign policy one, it would be a Middle Eastern war. And a Middle Eastern war, say between Israel and Iran, most likely, or between Hezbollah and Israel, that could have a dramatic effect on oil prices, which could immediately feed into consumer sentiment in the United States. I must add that I have no doubt that as Biden, quite quietly, behind the scenes, is still trying to negotiate a ceasefire between Netanyahu and Hamas, that Donald Trump is on the phone to Netanyahu begging him not to agree to one. I have very, very little doubt that that would be his instinct. And then the economy in general, well, the US Federal Reserve will probably cut interest rates next week. That will be good for Kamala Harris. Will they cut them by enough to make people feel richer? I don't know, but the economy is never far away. It's always the economy stupid.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Ed. Always a pleasure talking to you, giving us your sense there from Washington. Good to have you on the show, and we'll keep coming back to you in what promises to be possibly not just an October surprise, but a November razor-thin contest. Thank you very much for joining me, Ed Luce, there from Washington, D.C.